Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bullhucker podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
And I'm Adam Vokey.
What's going on, Mr. Vokey?
Not a lot.
Where we at, baby?
We are in the Brush Emporium, in the bowels of the Brush Emporium.
The bowels of the Brush Emporium. Now, I got to tell you a funny story. On Facebook, I released these videos a couple days after the YouTube, and it auto-captions them. So I have to pronounce bowels of the Emporium because it's been saying, "Hi, I'm Adam. We're in the bowels of the Emporium." So we are in the bowels of the Emporium, and today we have an old school guest again.
We
bro.
do.
We're getting some guys out of the woodwork, man, from back in the day. Yes.
From back in the day.
We got an old school comic we used to book quite a bit and work with quite a bit, and it was cool to have him come on down. Jsin Novak, how are you, man?
I am fantastico. How you guys doing?
Mucho fantastico. I gotta tell you, when did it stop becoming Captain Jsin?
It just depends on where it is. Sometimes it's still Captain Jsin. I get that from a lot. I get a lot of Captain. So it sticks. It's just one of those things that I don't care. You can call me anything but late for dinner, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's awesome. It's one of those things that's just how they know you.
Exactly.
Right? Where'd the captain come from?
The mustache and like back in the day, like when I first started doing the mustache, it was because I bit onto mustache hair, and if you've ever had one mustache hair get caught in two, that sucks. So then I started doing this, and I'm like, and it was about the time the first Pirates of the Caribbean was coming out, so I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I was doing like goatee braids and doing this, and then I'm like, getting into comedy. I'm like, well, let's make a stage name.
Yeah,
Captain Jsin.
You know who? The one stage name that didn't stick around that can't be. Nobody can get rid of his old poor Brent the Great. That poor bastard. Brent Gilbert. I get rid of Brent the Great, man. If he can go back and restart his comedy journey, like walk in and slap himself and be like, do not call yourself Brent the Great. You're Brent Gill, you know. And he's, by the way, he's a badass now.
He is.
He's gotten so good. Yeah, he's always been good, but you know, you can tell that guy's making a living doing this. So that's all we're kissing his ass, by the way. So,
well, there was one show, the first show that he did for us. Your mom would write out the checks, and she asked him, "Excuse me, Mr. the Great, what do I put on this check?"
Yeah. Like Gil, your name's Gil. I'll be goddamn. You know. Before we go any further, though, I do want to stop and say, hey, welcome to the Bullhucker podcast. If you're new to the podcast, what we do on this is we bring on a guest. Today's Jsin Novak, Captain Jsin. He's going to tell us 3 stories about his life. Now, here's the kicker. Only 2 of these stories are true. One's either borrowed, it's all the way made up, or it's an embellished story. At the end of the podcast, me and Adam are going to try and guess which one it is. And we'll see how we do. How did we do yesterday? I forget.
We struck out all the way around.
That's right. We were having back-to-back comedians on, and Mr. Giovanni took us to lunch.
He got us both.
He did get us both. So you've been watching a few of these, you said.
I have. I had to go back and check out Matt Baca and TBG. First go back and find the people I knew and watch it.
Right.
And then some random ones just to get through and get some idea. All right, how do I play these guys?
Yeah, I love it. I love to hear that. It's super easy to kick our ass. Just so you know. So I don't want to say you wasted your time preparing for something. It's like,
it wasn't exactly necessary.
Most of the prep was trying to dig through the history, the bowels of memory, and knock the dust off of things.
Right.
I'm calling people up like, hey, will you help me figure out a timeline for a time that we're not supposed to think about anymore? That was supposed to be forgotten about. Don't bring that. What, you're going to talk about that in public?
Yes, I am. Jsin, you'd be shocked at this shit. People have told me in this guy, we're like their priests at times. Like they start confessing weird shit to us, you know?
Yeah.
It's gotten wild over the years, man.
Some of them have been crazy that I saw on here.
Yeah.
Us being
murders and all kinds of crazy shit you got going on.
Us being their therapist has made us go to therapy.
Yeah. Made us feel a little sane is what it's made. It's like, I thought I was fucked up, but thank you for that, bro. Yeah. When did we meet, Jsin? It's been so long ago. It was Shorty's, correct?
That would have been Shorty's, that time period. Cool. Shorty's or the Cork. I don't know which one we actually met at, but those were happening at the same time.
I was only the Cork once or twice, maybe. Before Collins, right? That big bar. Yeah, I bet it was Shorty's. You guys used to come down to Greeley.
Yep, on the regular every Saturday or something.
07, 08, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's been forever, man. I called Dave Aloise and invited him to this, and so far, no dice. So
come on, Dave.
Yeah, come on, Dave, you punk. All WAP entertainment in the house. And that's not, by the way, not racial. That's what he named his.
That's what he goes by.
Yeah, so. There's a lot of old school guys I'd like to run into, and I was super excited when you wanted to come down. I thought this is gonna be okay. It's been been so long. So we're probably going to do some bullshitting later. So you want to get into the stories?
Yeah, let's do it.
You ready to tell some stories? All right. Folks, you want to read those off, bad boy?
Sure. We've got Welcome to the Brotherland, Vegas round trip, and rainbow waffles.
I bet you can guess which one I want to hear last. I was guaranteed. I always pick the one I want to hear last, or I want to hear the most. I always wait for last. But you want me to pick? Or you want to pick?
You can go ahead.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, they span 20 years.
Fuck, you already got us then. Okay, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm always up for a good Vegas story. Let's hear Vegas round trip.
All right, so this takes us back to summer of 2000. I was 18 years old, living in La Junta, in a place I lovingly call the orphanage. It's basically a bunch of outcasts, burnouts, family black sheep, all just hanging out together, you know, mostly unemployed, enjoying various recreational pharmaceuticals and whatnot, and just having a good time. Right. And we decided, there was about 6 of us who decided we were going to hitchhike to Las Vegas, just because why not? We didn't have anything better to do.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, and so 6 people and a dog decide we're all going to go as a group and hitchhike to Vegas, which, by your laughter, you can tell you know that's not the way you do it.
Yeah. That's a long walk, man.
Right? But it's four people like experienced hitchhikers, and then me and this chick Roxanne, we have no experience at all. And when we go, we do pretty all right from the beginning. We take off and getting rides in pickup trucks and whatnot, get to like Manzanola there, and then we have to start splitting off. All right, you couple out here, there. And my friend Crystal had family in Grand Junction, so we're like, all right, we'll meet there, we'll get to there. And this gal Roxanne and I, somehow the 2 least experienced, end up together as a group, of course.
Right.
We end up in Pueblo. And we can't get a ride out of Pueblo for the life of us.
That's probably for the best, my friend.
So we're there, and she's like, I got family that's here. I got an uncle that's here. We go stay the night at his house tonight and go in the morning. So she calls him up, and he comes, and he's like, you can come stay, but your boyfriend can't. And this is not my girlfriend by any means.
Yeah.
And she's cannot convince him of that, though.
Right.
She's, you're lying. You're blah, blah, blah. So you can come stay at the house, but he's got to go stay at the homeless shelter. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm 18. I'm on an adventure. Drop me off. Let's do this. So they go drop me off over there, and you go check in at the shelter. You got to check in all your weapons and everything. And when I'm going on the road, so I carried a big hunting knife on my belt, so that I carried it on my left side, passenger. If somebody starts, I just pull my shirt over, make sure don't. Yeah. And so I got to check in my weapons, and I because my 18-year-old wisdom, I had a wooden club that I'd gotten from the medieval festival. So I'm like, is this a weapon? Yeah, that's a weapon. All right, so I check it in. I'm doing the things, hanging out there, having dinner, and then we're cleaning up. And I get a chore of dishes I'm washing, and they're like, "Hey, Jason, your girlfriend's here." And Roxanne and her uncle had shown back up.
Right.
And I'm embarrassed. All these old guys there. I'm not going to be like, "She's not my girlfriend." So I just don't say anything. I just go talk to them, and they're like, "Oh, we just came to check on you. Just want to make sure you're okay." I'm like, yeah, fine. I probably would have been better if you didn't show up to check on me. This is fucking weird.
Yeah.
So they leave, and then I stay the night at the homeless shelter. The next day they come back, pick me up, drop us off on the highway outside of Pueblo. She tells me, we weren't actually there to check on you. I finally convinced them that you weren't my boyfriend, and he was going to let you come stay at the house. Oh. But then when they all started screaming that I didn't correct them, nope, you're staying there.
He's not buying it.
Yeah. So I stayed there. We get back on the road. We get picked up by this guy named Jeff, this Okie, in this pickup truck, and he's headed to the Pacific Northwest. He's like, yeah, come on, I'll go to Vegas. I'll do a detour. I'm not in a hurry. And so I find out later that he's stealing gas the whole way for his trip. At the time, I don't know this because he would drop us off. And when we'd go fly a sign, get some cash for some food and stuff, and he'd go get gas. Yeah. And what I found out later he was doing is he'd go into like Home Depot, because they used to have gas stations at that point. He'd go into Home Depot and get like a big or a small expensive item, take it immediately to the customer service desk without even leaving, and just return it. He didn't have a receipt, so he'd get a gift card and go use that to get gas.
That's genius.
Yeah. Right? I mean, he didn't even don't even fucking actually steal it. He just returned it.
Yeah.
But, so he's doing this the whole time. We get to Grand Junction. We meet up with the rest of our friends. It's like evening when we get there. Everyone wants liquor, but it's too late to fly a sign and whatnot. So he's like, just go in the liquor store and look around. And we're looking around, and we're all like, I look similar to this, but 18-year-old version of it, like trying to grow a beard. Yeah. And I had a Mad Hatter's hat, like a giant that my friend Dano brought back from Disney World from his honeymoon. It was like, this giant thing was like 18 inches tall, green, had the number card and everything.
Very, very 90s of you.
Right? I'm just
very, very Lollapalooza of you.
Right? I'm just hitchhiking across the country like this. But it's like, I've got like shorts on and Timberland boots and, this is my outfit. I'm rocking it.
Everything you said was 90s too. The Timberland boots too.
And like the whole group of us look like it, except for the Okie guy, Jeff. Right, so we're all going in this liquor store. He goes in and buys a little something, and while they're all watching us, shoves a couple fifths in his pants and buys a little shot and walks away. Because then was looking at the straight edge guy. Right. And then we're sitting around the fire drinking, and he explains how he got the booze and then how he's been getting gas. And I'm like, oh shit. And at that point, in retrospect, I should have cut ties. Cut ties with a thief, even if they're not stealing from you now. They're just cut ties. Don't thieves suck.
Yeah.
But he's willing to take us all the way to Vegas, and even the experienced hitchhikers are like, don't hitchhiking across Utah sucks. Like it sucks.
I bet.
So
I bet.
Let's skip that, and he's willing. So he takes us all the way to Vegas. And my friend Crystal has friends there, so we're hanging out there. She got a friend that's a dominatrix in town doing a show, got a hotel and everything. So they're gonna let us crash in the hotel. But we got to leave all of our gear in the truck because, we don't want all this camping gear and all this, like we're sneaking you into this room.
Yeah.
So we're there, we're partying and everything. We got to go to the casino. I'm like, I'm going to donate $5 to this casino. I slide it in a nickel slot machine. I win $20 worth of nickels.
Yeah.
Which seems like huge because at that time it wasn't a little paper. Like you actually got a cup of nickels.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to go cash it out. One of Crystal's friends is with me, and I go to the little booth thing where you cash it out, and he's standing behind me, and the lady looks at me, and she looks at him, and she's like, how old are you? I'm 21, and he is. Let me see your ID. I don't have it. You got to go stand behind the line. I'm like, yeah, get behind the line. As my 18-year-old self cashes in my money and go have a good time. We're partying. We go, crashing in the hotel room, going to be part of his dominatrix show. I mean, I'm living the 18-year-old wild dream.
You're going to the show, or you can be part of the show?
I was part of the show. Like, he was just in the hotel room. Like they're just like, here, we'll do a demonstration for y'all. How about you? And I'm like, all right, party, woo! And we're getting fucked up, and then, crash out. Wake up the next morning. Jeff is gone.
The Okie.
The Okie is gone. We hit this truck and all of our gear in the back of his truck.
He robbed you.
He fucking robbed us. I'm down to nothing but the clothes on that I'm wearing. You know what I mean? I got nothing. And so then I'm like, I'm done. Like, that just totally deflated me. Everyone else is going to stay there or go do shit. I'm like, I'm going back home. I'm see you guys. I'm done with this. And the parents of the guy who got gear to the back of the line, they gave me like a blanket and a little bit of gear and dropped me off on the interstate. And, I'm trying to get a ride out of Vegas. No one's picking me up. I just start walking. I'm like, fuck it. And then this state trooper pulls up, and, because you're not supposed to walk on the interstate. He's running my name, but I got no warrants. I got nothing on me. I'm, and I start to drop my hands. You're gonna live a lot longer if you keep your hands away from that knife. I'm like, no, sir. I am not about to try and stab you over a walking on the interstate ticket. Like, no, dude.
You thought he's coming for your bucket of nickels. You're like,
right?
I'll stab a cop.
I won't do it, I swear. So he's like, all right, don't let me see you on this interstate again. I'm standing there forever, just not getting a ride. It's dark. I don't know what the hell to do. I'm just standing there, and then finally this gal stops and picks me up. She's a stripper, just got off of work. She takes me out to breakfast at like Denny's or Waffle House or something. Lets me go crash on her couch. Next morning, takes me to the Hoover Dam. We tour the Hoover Dam. Drops me off back on the road. This guy picks me up. I don't know if you're familiar with Temple Bar, Arizona, but Temple Bar, Arizona has the longest driveway in the world, as the guy called it. It's 28 miles off of the highway. But he's like, my neighbors just moved out. They haven't flipped his place yet. You can crash in his old apartment tonight. And then this is an old hitchhiker guy. He starts busting out knowledge. Like, in Australia, you don't hitchhike with your thumb like this. You just point down. Things like that. I'm like, interesting. Like, telling me like you like use a sign, but just of the next town. That way, if you're going really far and someone's only going to the next town, they'll be like, I'm not going that far. But hey, I'll go happy to go to the next town. Or if someone's insane and they pick you up, you're like, no, this is my stop. Nah. See, this is where I was going. This is perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. That's scary that we're learning this, but that makes all kinds of sense.
Right? But so he hooks me up, gives me some food and stuff, drops me back off on the interstate. I end up in Flagstaff, meet this old hippie guy named Mouse who he's like, if you're going to be out here on the road, you got to be able to make some money, and gives me like gear to go polish truckers' rims.
Yeah.
Like here you go. You can go make some money. They'll pay. I'm like, I mean, it's just people are just cool hooking you up.
Yeah.
I get a ride from this truck driver named Grover. This guy, and he makes his own cigarettes, like the old school, like where you have a tube and you put it in, and but he liked to put sage in them. So I'd put,
really,
just little flavors, it's actually pretty good.
He's adding sage, not just smoking sage.
No, just a little bit of sage in with the tobacco, just to, to add a little flavor.
Little flavor, get rid of the demons.
Yeah.
So I'm riding with him, just making cigarettes for him.
Hold on. First of all, kudos to catching that, Doki. For someone who doesn't believe in this shit, I'm surprised he knew that. No, I'm just a little shocked. He's been shocking me the past 2 days. So I'm sorry. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Your wealth of knowledge he didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm just making cigarettes and talking and stuff, and then he's like, all right, I got to stop for the night. Stops at this Indian casino where, to go crash. He gives me dinner, and then gives me some money to go gamble. I'm like, fuck it, I got away with it in Vegas. I'll go do it here, and I'm gambling, and this security guard comes up. Excuse me, sir, are you smoking marijuana cigarettes? No, they just have sage, just sage. Yeah. Well, don't smoke them in here. Okay, sure, no problem. If you're just going to let me keep gambling, I won't smoke. Sure thing. Yeah. And then a female security guard comes up and she boots me out. She's like, how old are you? 18. You got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So she gets me out. I see Grover. Hey, he lets me crash out in the sleeper of his truck. He comes in the middle of the night all happy, won a bunch of money, drops me off the next day, gives me some cash, drops me off in Las Vegas, New Mexico. And I got me some Mexican food. That's good old. It was fantastic. And I get a ride from a couple of guys in this pickup truck, and they look. I'm hopping in the back for a minute. Then they pull over there. Guess they feel like I'm okay. Let me hop in the cab. Yeah. Turns out they got like a couple pounds of weed under the seat of the truck, so they're driving on the frontage road because they don't want to add interstate trafficking to the charges if they get pulled over. That's the appropriate response.
Is that a thing?
I don't think so. But here's the real kicker: is they're doing interstate speeds. They're doing like 80 miles an hour on the frontage road. But I'm like, whatever. I'm along for the ride. I'm just doing this thing. So they take me to Springer, New Mexico, is where they're going. And we hang out with them for a little bit, and I gotta go hang out, get some food, find my place I'm gonna crash, find a nice bridge to crash under for the night. Gonna take off the next morning. That night I find them in a park. They're having a keg party, all kinds of people. They're like, oh, the hitchhiker, yeah. So I get all drunk with them, go crash under the bridge, wake up early the next morning, get up, walk out to the interstate, and where the park is, it's like right next to the interstate. And so rather than walk all the way through town and take the on-ramp like you'd have to in a car, I just cut through the park and got to the end of the on-ramp right there. And within minutes, another state trooper's on me. Running my name, super nice guy. The nicest cop interaction I've definitely had in my life to that point, for sure. He's like, okay, runs my name, you're clean, hope you get a ride soon. He's gone. I'm like, wow, what a nice guy. Yeah. Then I proceed to stand on the interstate for about 8 hours.
Oh, shit.
People just driving by. One guy drives by like, woo! I'm like, thanks. Like my Timberlands are melting to the pavement. It's just like, it's ridiculous. So finally I'm like, I got to get out of here. I walk over to the park, get some shade. These guys are back trying to finish off the keg from the night before. So hanging with them for a minute. And then some guy's like, hey, are you that guy that was on the interstate hitchhiking? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm the guy that drove by and went, woo! I'm like, well, cool. Yeah.
Thanks, asshole.
But then he's, that's exactly what I'm thinking. But then he's like, well, where are you going? I'm trying to get back to La Junta. Oh, well, we're going right through there. We'll give you a ride. There's a little 2-door sports car full of their shit in the back. I'm crammed in the whole way, but happy as shit to be getting a ride. Yeah. And they're going and pulling onto the interstate. And as they pull on, I see this big sign. Springer, New Mexico. Home of Springer's Boys Home. do not pick up hitchhikers.
Oh.
But I didn't see it because I cut the fucking path and ended up on the backside of that sign. And when that cop stopped me that morning, he didn't say nothing. He just said, I hope you get a ride soon. See ya.
Asshole.
Yeah. So he went from the nicest to the, oh, man. But then these guys gave me a ride all the way to my front door at the orphanage. Dropped me off. That was my Vegas round trip.
I'm so glad you're here. It reminds me of a joke Steve Young used to have when he came to Sterling. Sterling has a prison there.
Right.
It's a federal, yes?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so it's a big one. And it says, do not pick up hitchhikers, prison. Steve Young
Correctional
says,
facility, something.
Yeah.
Steve Young says, that just tells me you guys run a shitty prison, It was a great joke, and it's all prison people in the audience, But that was a great story, man. That's what
Employees, not inmates.
Right.
My prison
Right.
people.
Right. What'd you think of that one, man?
That was insane.
Yeah.
But if I ever need to hitchhike, I've got a few pointers
Holy
now.
shit, man! I like the fact that there's levels to hitchhiking. A cross stitch there is like a level 17 hitchhiker. I mean, he could be on fire and get picked up. He's that fucking good.
Like that, wow, you don't even know you're picking him up. You're just driving like, I'm not picking him up, and then he's in your car. Oh shit! How the fuck did you do that?
That's amazing. That's a great story. You know what I like the most about that story is that's the kind of story I started this podcast for.
Right?
What a great life story. You know what I mean? It was a great life story, man. What a great memory for you.
It absolutely was. Just one of those things that you got to figure out the dates when you go back and try and remember, but it's there. It's embedded so much.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's fucking fantastic. I'm a bit envious of it. Not to hitchhike, but to have that kind of adventure, to kind of have that memory and that experience in life, Because, after that, what comes at you that you can't handle? Honestly, Jason, what is it,
Mental illness.
Yeah, well, fuck.
But, I'm battling that, and we're fighting the good fight there, too. So,
All right. That was awesome, man. I really enjoyed that. That was Vegas round trip. All right. Oh, I picked the first one, so you're number 2, my friend.
All right, I'm going to go with Welcome to the Brotherland.
Welcome to the Brotherland.
All right, cool. That means we're going in chronological order.
I'm going to stop you real fast. I got to get used to this. I'm not getting used to this. I got to get used to this.
Oh, yeah.
So we actually have sponsors on the podcast now. So we're going to take a quick second to do a little word from our sponsor, our local business of the week. So check it out.
Hi, my name is Carolyn. My husband and I are the proud owners of Full Tilt Trailer Rentals, a small town rental service. We are here to serve Morgan County and surrounding areas with a full line of trailers to meet your needs. We offer car haulers, utility trailers, and dump trailers for a variety of tasks you may need to tackle. Our competitive pricing and rewards program is here to serve you best. You can contact us or watch all of our activity and promos on our Facebook page. But if social media isn't your thing, we are also available via phone call or text message at 970-467-2393 or 970-380-4720. We're like U-Haul, but better.
All right, that was Full Tilt Trailer Rental. So please make sure you check them out. They're a local couple, young couple starting their own business. You know what I mean? They've done so far very well for themselves. J.D. Gordon, if you go back, check out J.D. Gordon's episode. It was really good. Nice. Very interesting kid, and anyway, if you do rent something from them, tell them the Bullhucker sent you. What will you get for that? Not a damn thing. But it helps us do some more whoring later in life. You know what I mean? So at least they know you found us here. So,
and when you look like this, whoring ain't as easy as you'd think.
Look at this, bro. Okay, I can't give it away. Okay,
you have exhibits A, B, and C sitting here.
We look like a motley-looking crew for sure. So, anyway,
don't you want some of this?
Yeah. Come on, get it. All right, sorry I interrupted you, man. So, welcome to Brotherland.
All right, so we're going to go in chronological order then, apparently. By your story choices, we're going to flash forward to 2014. But a little backstory. So, I didn't grow up knowing my dad. I met him when I was 19 years old.
Okay.
And so when I met him, I went from being one of 4 siblings to one of 12.
Wow.
None are full. They're all half or step or something, but they're all, it's all family, big thing. You get it.
Me too.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about some of it. And yeah, we definitely share that in common. And so some of them I met in the beginning, we hit it off right away. Some I barely know at all.
Yeah.
But my brother Jared, I met him a couple times, but we didn't really hit it off. We're close to the same age, but both were younger and doing our own kind of things. Right. And we just decided this would have been in late 2013 or early 2014. We started kind of connecting online and decided, all right, we should definitely we need to get to know each other. You live in Denver, I live in Fort Collins. We're half brothers, and like literally half brothers.
Right.
Like we should know each other.
Yeah.
So next time I go to Denver, I'll hit you up. We'll go out to lunch or something. And then April is coming around, and that year Denver is hosting the Cannabis Cup.
Nice.
So I'm like, I'm going to get tickets for that, and then I'll hit him up, and we'll go have breakfast, and then I'll go to this afterward. And I said, I don't know him at all, really, so I didn't want to put anything out. Most of my family's pretty straight arrow. I'm the black sheep. Yeah. So, I'm just like, we'll go have breakfast and connect, and then I'll go, be a heathen for the day. So I'll meet him at that Davies chuck wagon with the horse out front. And it's like one of the 50s diner things there. With the things. We have breakfast there, and we're chatting and everything, and we get to know each other and kind of find out that we're basically like twins separated by a couple of years and different moms. Yeah. But I mean, we're almost the same person. It's weird.
Right.
And so it turns out he's got a ticket for the Cannabis Cup too.
Shut up.
Yeah. and so it's like, oh, well, shit. Yeah, let's go together. Let's, make this a thing. And he's like, I want to stop at my friend's house and get some mushrooms. I'm like, okay, we're going to make this a journey. This just went from hey, how's it going? Yeah, this is about me to well, all right, we're going into the depths together.
He's like, brother Jsin, you know what else we should do? We should hitchhike there. And you're like, fuck it. When are we moving in together?
Hey, how you doing? Want to hitchhike to Vegas?
Yeah. I would have probably said yes at that moment. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we pay for breakfast and we go to his buddy's house, and and it's the Cannabis Cup's on 420. So it's the whole thing, So we're at his buddy's house and smoking joints and celebrating, and he's like, hey, you guys want to buy a half a pound of shake? It's the bottom of the barrel, seeds and stems, and just broken up, we're like, yeah, how much? He's like, $75. We're like, that's how much we have. Or he's like, $100. We're like, that's how much we have. We don't have that much. We have $75 between us. He's like, $75. So we're like, all right, sweet. Fuck yeah, we'll take that deal. On this day, we have to do that. That's it would be sacrilegious not to do that.
It's called shake?
Yeah, it's just a shake, the bottom of the barrel, when everything's falling from the actual nugs that you want.
It's all the leftover shit.
Yeah,
It's the Danny DeVito of the,
the
leftover shit. Okay, all right.
And so then we're like, all right, oh shit, but now we don't have any money to buy any mushrooms. And he's like, oh, you want mushrooms? Well, shit, I'll give you some of those. I grow those. And just gives us way more than the $75 we would have bought. Yeah. So then we leave with a big old fat sack of mushrooms, half a pound of this shaky, seedy stem stuff, and go to his apartment on Capitol Hill to go get ready to go to the thing. We're like, we're going to roll up some joints. I don't know how to roll, so he's teaching me to roll. I'm like, let's make some tea. So we put on some water. We're putting all the seeds and stems and a bunch of the weed and a bunch of the mushrooms in there, boiling that up. We're like, we're gonna be like kings going to the Cannabis Cup. We can pass out mushrooms and joints, and we're just gonna be like, and we're eating and we're tripping and we're smoking, and and then all of a sudden the smoke alarm starts going off.
Oh no.
And we're start doing this where you're waving the towel trying to get, and then we know this is black smoke. This isn't just us smoking out the thing. Something's on. Oh shit! I left the tea on the stove, and all the water had boiled away, and all of the stuff inside had just started smoldering and burning and smoke. Right. So we get that put out and get and he's at an apartment in Capitol Hill, which at that time's Crackheadville.
Right.
So we're like, let's get the fuck out of here. We leave there, go to the Cannabis Cup. We're just chilling. We're tripping. We're just having a kick-ass time. And he's in the music scene, not in it, but he goes to all these shows, so he knows all the bouncers and all the different people that work the stuff. And we're there hanging out, and then he's one of his friends. All of a sudden we hear Jared. We're across, and we're like, what? It's like, oh, cool. It's my friend. And it goes, and we get to go backstage and meet Tommy Chong.
Oh, that's very cool.
Oh, awesome.
And we got to smoke a joint with Tommy Chong.
Wow.
And I'm tripping balls. So I'm really glad that this was a point in time that cell phones and evidence were a thing.
Right.
Because then, I saw, I could believe myself, and other people, I made it my Facebook picture and everything.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
My sister hit me up the next day. She said she showed it to my niece, and she's like, "Who's that old guy with Uncle Jason?"
Oh my God, dude.
But yeah, that's how I met my brother. Really got to know him. Like I'd met him a couple times before.
Right.
That's how we really met.
That's fucking awesome. Man.
awesome.
That's a great story, dude. You to this day, you guys are still in connection.
Oh yeah. He's still in Denver. We connect. We trip sometimes. We just, he's a musician who does different stuff. I mean, super awesome guy.
How many other siblings do you keep in touch with, or any of them? Or
I've got a sister, Tennille, in Platteville. I got another brother in Denver.
Right.
And then my sister, one sister I grew up with is out in Virginia. I don't see very often. And another one in La Junta. It was a sister and a brother in La Junta I grew up with. Stepsisters and brothers out in Missouri.
Are you from La Junta originally?
Near La Junta. I'm from, and you may know.
Chirac.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have had this conversation before. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Holly.
Right.
So
you know the
my
little
family's
towns.
in Lamar, yeah.
Because it's down by another law.
Los Animas.
Los Animas.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm from Pueblo originally.
Right.
So yeah, that's a Southern Colorado connection.
My stepdad's from La Junta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy town, dude.
It is a very crazy town. I can tell you some stories there.
Yeah. Tommy Chong, what a great name drop. You know what I mean?
Right.
To meet, not a name drop, but someone that's.
Yeah, it was a dream. I mean, like literally, I'm like a stoner guy. Like I've always been I've been smoking weed for as long as I've been alive, mostly.
Right. There was a kid when I was DJing high school dances at Fort Morgan who came to the DJ booth. This kid reeked of weed so bad. I said, buddy, listen, if you're around people who don't get high, don't hotbox it in your car. You know what I mean?
Right.
I told him, you smell like Cheech, and he goes, who? I go, fuck. You smell like Snoop. He's like, oh. Deal double G, bro. Yeah, he had no clue who Cheech was, you know? I work with a bunch of young guys now, Jason. I have references like that from the 90s and 80s and shit. And they who? I go, fuck it.
Yeah, that was, when I met my idol, and my niece was like, who's the old guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Tommy Chong, man. That's he was out of prison by then. He went to prison for a while, right? For the Chong bongs?
I think it was a real short time.
Okay. He ended up winning that because how are you going to stop it, dude?
Yeah, it was total entrapment. Yeah. Like, it was absolutely
stupid.
Yeah, there's so many people up in arms over that. I think they felt like maybe we should drop these charges before someone burns the prison down.
Right? The guy gets high, but that's like an American sweetheart right there. Yeah, like one of the nicest guys
literally,
there.
Who hates Cheech and Chong, bro?
Right?
I grew up with those movies, dude. We used to quote them all the time.
Right.
Laughed our ass off. They wouldn't fly nowadays, by the way.
Oh, no.
My God. Which is the one where Cheech is on the side of that elevator, and it's a glass elevator, and he's trying to escape from that. What movie is that?
It's Still Smoking. That's Still Smoking, because it's when the guy Animal comes back, because he's there trying to sleep with his girlfriend, and
she's got a picture of the newspaper article of the animal going to jail, and it's all known to hate Mexicans.
She's like, I got a Mexican here that'll kick your ass. He's like, what fuck?
That shit wouldn't fly anymore, dude. But those movies are so classic. You'd have to still laugh today at. It's fantastic, bro.
Just the best. And the fact that they made so much from weed.
Top right-hand corner, Dave's not here. Someone's already signed that on the damn wall.
Nice.
See, Dave Adams. Dave's not here. Are you familiar with that? Yeah. Hey, Dave. All right. What'd you think of that, Vogue?
That was another crazy story. It's going to be hard to figure out.
Yeah, you're going to be tough. I guess. Maybe your preparation has worked out, Daniel-san. Great stories, though, and I like the brother thing. I think that's really cool. It's
right.
I've done the same thing. I met my siblings later in life.
Right.
When I was 24, I met John and Tiffany. They were 9. But I have a sister, Krista, who's just a few months younger than me. You know, so when I met her, not to that extent, we were both drinkers. But love the Bulls. We had a lot of crazy shit in common. As we should. We're brother and sister.
Right.
So we both like girls. So a lot of stuff in common. So
she's your sister and your Eskimo brother.
We go cruising for bitches. Let's go, sis. So I love that story. That's a great story. If that one's not true, I'm going to be a little upset. So what a great story. All right, we got one more story, man. We're humming along. This is great. I'm a sucker for great titles, man. Like some titles just poke out at me. I'm like, yeah, I bet you're awesome. That's why I always make them go last. So let's hear Rainbow Waffles.
All right. Well, so a little bit of backstory. I grew up Jehovah's Witness, so I didn't do birthdays and stuff for a lot of my life. So when I had kids, like that was a big thing. We do birthdays, and then when I got divorced, then I made sure like to work it out with my ex that whoever had whatever kid on their birthday, the other got to get them for a couple hours and get to do a birthday thing. Yeah. And just like so, my son Zen and I, our tradition every year is a birthday breakfast. We go out to IHOP or Village Inn or something, and in 2022, you guys know what the Rainbow Gathering is? It's a hippie thing, National Rainbow Gathering.
It was in the mountains that year, and people were upset about it.
Up in Steamboat Springs.
Yes, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes. So it's a big gathering, for people who don't know, it's a big gathering of hippies in the woods. It's basically like, come and just live. Like nobody runs it. There's nobody in charge. It works because everybody just goes and does their thing.
Right.
Whatever you're like, I knew one guy who would just every year bring a giant bag of socks and just like clean socks. I mean, if you've been in the woods for weeks and you need to, I mean, like that's a god. Hey, you want a pair of clean socks? Like that's a godsend. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, so my thing is like, I would just bring random stuff and just end up giving it to the right random person at the random moment. Like, oh yeah. Oh, you need a lighter? Here. Take it. You can have it.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. I've been without a lighter for days.
Yeah.
And just random stuff. And that's kind of what I do. And everybody just does their own thing. And there's different, it's just, it works. And it's this like no money involved kind of big, just free. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So anyway, that's going on up there. It happens on the 4th of July every year. And it's up in Steamboat Springs. My son's birthday is on July 2nd. And so my ex has them for the 4th of July holiday that year for the rotation. They're planning on going up there for the gathering. I'm planning on going up separate. So I asked her, like, can I get him for a couple hours on his birthday and still be able to do our thing? Yeah, of course. Cool. Well, what do you want for your birthday? Waffles. All right, cool. All right, so I figure I do hunt and scour and search for one of those clamshell waffle things that you can make in the campfire. I'm going to make, like, I've never made waffles in the woods before, but I'm going to make it. That's what you want for your birthday. That's what you're going to get.
That's cool.
So, I mean, it was hard to find one. Like,
right.
I mean, because especially I procrastinated too much. It's like, but I got one. I got the stuff. I got... I'm bringing my propane stove and my butane, just everything, just in case. I got all the waffle ingredients. And at the time, I have a 16-year-old Italian greyhound named Passepartout.
Named what?
Passepartout.
Okay.
It's the butler's name from around the world in 80 days.
Oh, okay.
But he's like not doing great. He's 16 years old. Yeah. Like he's half blind, not very many teeth left. But he's like, he looks at me and he's like, "You're going on this adventure. You're taking me with you." Yeah. And I'm like, "Hell yeah, buddy, you and me." Yeah. So I sew him like a sling that I could carry him in when he's too tired to walk.
Yeah.
And I got his food, I got my food, I got all the stuff to trade. Like they do trade circles there where you're bartering for stuff. They do drum circles, so I got like my drum, I got all my gear, I got the waffle stuff. I have 300 pounds worth of gear. And I decide, this is the first vacation that I'm going to take in 5 years. The first actual vacation I'm going to take in 5 years. So I'm like, I'm doing this thing. Like, I haven't been to a gathering in forever. I haven't done any of this stuff forever. I'm like letting go. I just retired from 20 years of being a caregiver, of taking care of adults with developmental disabilities.
Right.
Like, so I'm just out of it. Like I'm just this retirement celebration. I'm doing this thing. And I decide I'm going to hitchhike. I haven't hitchhiked
of course.
in years,
right.
So I'm gonna do. I used to do this. Oh, it was awesome! All these adventures and this excitement. I'm gonna do this. So I got all my gear and my phone. Like my wife and I have a little inn, and my phone is one of our main business lines, so I can't take it with me and be out of service for days. So I got to leave that with her, and I have her drop me off at Ted's place at like 6 o'clock in the morning with my dog and my 300 pounds of gear and a sign that just says home, because that's what most of the people going there call it. Welcome home. You're going home. Like that's,
Yeah.
And so I just like, I'm thinking, going to go up Highway 14. This is, 6-hour drive. So I'll make it in a day. No problem. Hitchhiking takes a little longer, but no problem. I'll make it. I'm leaving on the 1st. 6 a.m. on the 1st. His birthday's the 2nd. She drops me off at Ted's place. I'm sitting out there for like 6 hours. Because, I didn't realize and think about it. Most people are coming up from Denver. They're coming up the other way up to Steamboat Springs. Nobody's going up Highway 4. That's a back road.
Right.
So I sit there for like 6 hours. I'm like freaking out. Like, I got no communication. I can't bail. I can't. Oh, what did I do? I'm never going to make his birthday. I fucked this. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just freaking out. And these 2 dairy farmers from Windsor just happened to be taking a ride up the canyon that day. They drove by me once, decided they liked my look, came back, picked me up, took me all the way up to Walden. Dropped me off at a gas station in Walden, and I should have had him drop me off outside of town, because then I had to walk to the edge of town and do like the solo fire brigade, like carry a little bit, go back, carry a little bit. Go. And I get to the edge of town, I'm standing there for hours and just like freaking out again. I'm not going to get his birthday. This guy stops and picks me up, who's going to pick up his friend whose transmission broke down, going to go haul them. And so he picks me up and takes me to that main road where Highway 14 splits off to that bigger highway, whatever that is. Drops me off there. Some local lady, I'm there for like no time at all. Some local lady picks me up because she sees my dog and is worried if my dog's going to be okay.
Doesn't give a shit
Doesn't
about
give
you.
a shit about me.
Don't
Is
care
actually
about
very
you.
questioning about me. Is very unsure about me. But because of my dog and her concern of my dog, she's willing to stop and make a more balanced determination. And ultimately, she's still not sure. But because of my dog and her concern, she's like, yeah, all right, I'll give you a ride.
You can ride in the back. The dog can ride in the front.
Nosferatu can ride up front. What's his name?
Paspatu.
Oh, I was even close.
So she gives me a ride all the way to Steamboat Springs. It's getting to be toward evening, but I'm like, oh, it's all right. I'm going to make it. It's going to be all right. Drops me off on the edge of Steamboat Springs. She ends up actually, after she drops me off, calling Lindsay for me to let her know how far I've made it and that I'm safe that far anyway. Yeah. And so I'm just totally cool lady. And then I'm there. I'm thinking I'm going to eat some food. Within minutes, this minivan starts pulling up. This old hippie guy. Are you a hippie? Yeah, I am. Woo! You want to ride? Yeah, I do. I'm like, we'll take you all the way home. You know, I'm like, oh, fantastic. You know, it's this younger gal and her young kid and this old hippie guy. And they're like, do you have any weed on you, though? I'm like, yeah, I got like 1/4 ounce of weed, you know, smoke for the... Again, it's in a national forest. And even though weed's legal in Colorado... They totally, it's a bunch of free-spirited people up there, so the law enforcement fucking with everybody. Yeah. And so because it's a national forest, they're giving people federal tickets for having weed on federal land.
Yeah.
So they're being hardcore. So I stash my weed up in like this hollow of a tree, get a ride up there. It's getting to be evening, and got all my gear. I'm just like, I've got it all on. I'm wearing everything, just trudging into, because then once you get there, like you got to hike miles in to everything. This guy, Animal, sees me, like, that's his name. He sees me, struggling along. He's like, man, you should just come crash. I got an extra hammock. You should crash there for tonight. Figure it out in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. To get there, find out that the bag of sugar that I brought spilled all over everything. And so I'm like, damn it. Crash out in his hammock. Wake up the next morning all early. It's my son's birthday. I made it. I'm going to go get to do the birthday thing. And, there's no phone service up there anyway. And, I knew they were going to camp near a place called Kitty Village, where a lot of the families and kids, camp. Yeah. So I knew they were going to be there. I just got to go find them. I get there all excited, all super early, and everybody's still asleep, So I can't be like, Zin! I got to be yelling or waiting for a while. Finally, I'm like, fuck, because I was going to get him and then hike him back where I was and then make the waffles there. And I'm like, So I hiked the 1.5 miles back to where I was camped. Get the waffle stuff, minus the stove and stuff, because I just can't do it. I'm like, I don't have the energy. I'll find a campfire, go back, run into them and find out, like, if I'd have waited 10 minutes, he'd have been there. Yeah. But I find them, hook up with them, and now we're like, we got to go around and find the right campsite, the right campfire that we can go. I got one package of waffle mix, so I can't have, be like 40 people there, but it's got to have the right fire and everything. We're going, no. Finally, I see just the right one, about 10 people, perfect little cooking fire. Walk up, I'm like, hey, do you guys mind if we borrow your fire? That's a Trump fire! I'm like, fire don't give a shit who you vote for. I just sit down and start making waffles. And you guys want waffles? We're making birthday waffles. And they're like, oh, yeah, explain the whole thing. And they're, oh, happy birthday. And they're giving him gifts. And
These are independent waffles.
That's right. These waffles aren't old enough to vote. Just let them be. But it's just like, politics aside, it's very much not my camp. But I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I give a fuck about your politics. We're here to have waffles. It's a birthday. Celebrate his birthday. So we have his birthday waffles and everything, and then we get to do that, and I get to enjoy the rainbow gathering, and we do like the drum circles. There's trade circles. I'm at one of the trade circles. I see a Star Trek book. My wife loves Star Trek, so I'm like, oh. He's like, oh, you can have that. And then later on, after she was reading it after I got home, she found a $100 bill.
Oh,
in the Star Trek book. I'm just like,
was that on purpose, you think?
I have no idea. No idea if it was stashed there. If somebody had maybe given it. My thought is that somebody had given it to him, but trying to do it on the sly. Like, yeah, take this book, and thinking when he read it, he'd find the money and be down the road and couldn't say no. Yeah. But then he never actually read it, so he didn't find the money. That's the story I came up with. My thought on how it got there.
Reading pays, kids.
Right? Dividends. So, we do that, and then I'm getting kind of just done at this point. I've been there for a few days. Get a ride back down to Steamboat Springs where I'm going to rent a car because I'm not hitchhiking back. I'm ready to be home. But you can't rent a one-way car in Steamboat Springs because it's all just like you got to return it to the same place. There's no like Avis where you rent it here and drop it off in Denver.
Are they all independent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's no, so I decided, fuck it, I'm renting a U-Haul. And I just rent the smallest U-Haul that I can.
Right.
Throw now my gear looks tiny in the back of this U-Haul.
Yeah.
Circle back around, go back to the edge of town, find my weed in the hollow of the tree. It's still sitting there just where I left it. And make my way home.
That's awesome.
That's insane.
Back down Highway 4. I stopped at Safeway, got some chicken.
Yeah. That's awesome. How many people show up to that?
It depends every year. That year, I want to say there were about 5,000 or 6,000. I've been to, like the first one I went to in California, I think there were like 30,000 people.
So I remember seeing that on the news one day. 'Cause, usually when I wake up, I work super early in the morning. So my days off, I'll wake up and I'll just throw on 9 News, eat my oatmeal, because I'm an old man.
Right.
And they were talking about that, and people were up in arms about it, like the locals, right? Some don't like
there's a lot of locals. That's why I liked getting the ride with that local lady, because I was able to then connect with her and be like, look, this is what we're about.
Yeah.
Listen to this, not that.
But people, it sounded so not helpless, so harmless, but people were like, all these people are just going to, they were worried about the masses of people that were going to show up in their towns. That's what it sounded like on the news anyway. I remember seeing it, and I remember thinking they're just going to go up there and get high and hang out too. There's nothing wrong there, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
it's all just peace and love. And then even like people who go and then they're like they do go to like a close town and they're trying to like fly a sign or Spain. The people like the family, the rainbow family is who we are. Yeah. Go back, go home. There's food up there. There's free. You will be fed. Don't be here, and so there's not rules per se, but just ways.
Understanding.
Etiquette.
Etiquette. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just etiquette about things. So when you go, you don't mess with the town like that, and you actually bring in huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, forest fires used to be managed by fires. There'd be a small fire, it'd burn up the kindling, and now we don't let it do that. Stuff builds up, and local camp, just a few campers here and there can't clean it. But you have that many people come in who are scavenging for fire starters, for firewood, for all these things, and it actually gets left cleaner than when we arrived.
Right. It's a more mellow Sturgis, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Way less chance of being stabbed at the Rainbow Festival than Sturgis. So
Yeah, I'd say your percentage chances are much less. I'm not going to say zero because I don't make promises.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think, man? You got one in mind?
Not at all.
I do.
Holy
I do have one in mind. I do have one in mind. So we'll see. Jason, before we guess, we do the rock paper scissors to see who has to go first. You've probably seen this so far.
I have, and you're wrong.
Oh, you rock paper scissors shoot.
Each one deserves its respect, man. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. If you go on scissors, then scissors is being disrespected.
No, man, rock paper. They call it rock paper scissors shoot. You know what? We can't get into it. Okay.
I'm actually working. I wanted to bring you guys. I have an old school bicycle pump. I make art out of I take old things and I do junk art.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make you guys a scoreboard. I didn't get to get it finished in time, but I'm going to make you like a scorekeeper where it comes up, the handle shifted on either side. So one side's a 3, one side's the 4. Then you can keep it here and adjust it at each thing and keep the...
You know what? I also got Ed Goff Mini Metal sign. I'll show you when we're done to hang up. So
nice.
We're gonna have this place covered in. These are all presents, by the way. People
Nice.
just buying shit for the podcast. That's kind of cool. So we're doing your poor pumper, you bastards. Ready? It's been forever since I beat it, dude. I'm so happy, dude.
I was going 3. I was like, I stuttered. Did you see me stutter? I was like, oh wait, he's still going. Shit. Okay, I'll just
You
go.
want to know why? Because he knows that's the right way. All right, that's what's up, dude.
When Giovanni was here, we went like 5 rounds.
Yeah, it was impressive.
It was insane. So
That is insane.
it was fucking with his mind. He was like, "All right, Vogue, let's hear it, buddy."
oh yeah, that's me, huh?
Yep.
Man, I have no idea. I'm gonna go probably with the one that sounds the most outrageous. I'm gonna go with Vegas round trip because even though there's a lot of details, there was a lot to that story. So I just think that'd be easy to just slide something in there, a little extra.
All right, Vegas round trip, huh?
Yep.
All right, so welcome to Brotherland. I'm going to say that's a true story, just because I want it to be one, more or less. On this podcast, I've noticed you can tell sometimes when people are telling heartfelt stories, you know what I mean, or stories. The way they tell them, they just have a certain spark to them. You know what I mean? Like, this is a cherished memory. He's nodding yes. It's probably the one. He's like, God, you full of shit, Lundstrom. But I think that's a true story. I think Rainbow Waffles also a true story. That's just I've heard about this Rainbow Festival. I like that because it's a great thing your son will always remember. Right? That's something that's your guys' thing, right? So for my birthday every year, my mom, my uncle, and I, for all our birthdays, we always go out to eat. That's what we do. Right. You know what I mean? And they know for my birthday we're going to Salmon Louis and Sterling. That's, you know what I mean? It's just, and those are things you'll always remember.
That's
I think
traditions.
You're right. Vegas round trip I'm also picking because pretty much the same way you're picking them. That was a great story. Fantastic. And I think it's an embellished story. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try and call it. I think it's all true.
Someone's getting cocky.
Yes, that's right. If I'm right, though, we're kissing my ass tonight. I think it's all true. I think the part that wasn't true was not seeing that billboard till the end. Like
the hitchhiker.
Yeah, the hitchhiker. That's what I'm going to say. So we're both going to go. We're going to team up on you, Jason. But before you flip that over, I do want to say, hey, thank you to the Brush Emporium. Thank you for giving us a place to have our studio down here. What do you think, by the way, Jason?
That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's the nicest dungeon I've been in.
Yes, it is. It's because we're in the bowels of the Emporium. I'm going to get that on my shirt. But thank you. They've been so generous, so awesome about everything. They've been very supportive of this podcast. There are 4 people in this town who really give a shit about this town. They're great people. They started this shop just to have a place for people to do their local wares.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can rent a little space upstairs, and all the stuff upstairs is local, all of it. Also they have food up there. They have great pizza, pasta, chicken wings, pretzel sticks, ice cream. They do all. It's like a frat house. I always joke around, upstairs because that's the same food you get. And here's the cool part, Jason. You might love this. They have a big seating area, and they have the old school board games upstairs.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to bring your family down and play a little Chutes and Ladders, play a little Monopoly, they got a chessboard up there. You can bring the kids down and have an old school night here. Also on every second and fourth Tuesday they're doing bingo, man. So come down and do some bingo, baby.
Nice.
In small town of Brush. When's the last time you bingoed, bro?
I don't know. It was this past summer.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
You're such an old man, Vokey.
my fiance broke up with me and I didn't have anything else to do on Monday night, so I went to the Oaks Bingo.
Well, I won't be one like me either, son of a bitch. I hate you, P. The G's hate me.
The first night I went $258.
Okay, you win.
Yeah, that's a way to mend a broken heart.
Yeah, right? But how many buckets of nickels is that? A shitload.
That's a lot of buckets of
That's a
nickels.
lot of nickels.
But thank you, Brush Emporium, for being so awesome. And I hope you guys support this. It's 210 Clayton Street. Please support them because they support us. If you like this podcast,
Click that little subscribe button down in the corner because it's a small click for you, but a big click for us.
that's a big click for us. No matter what you're watching this on or listening to it on, I'm sorry. Leave a rating and review. As a matter of fact, right now, before Jason flips that over, why don't you write in the comments below what you think it is? And we'll see how many people get this right. You know, it's Susan Koster is that's our OG of this podcast.
Right.
I think she's watched every episode.
Nice.
And commented on every episode, man. So,
wow.
She's ahead of me.
Yeah, I think she's, I don't know, I think she's just as bad as the rest of us. I don't
No,
know.
I'm talking about seeing every episode.
Oh, yeah, she's done awesome. So, having said all that, thank you, Brush Emporium. They're actually the main sponsor of this podcast. We have weekly sponsors we heard from earlier. This is the main sponsor for the actual podcast. So.
You got to support the small town stuff, because if a small town isn't growing, it's dying.
Right.
It's
if you
got to.
If you don't support small business, it goes away. So, having said that, Mr. Jsin, let's see that board. Let's see what you got, homeboy.
All right. Well, I want to congratulate you guys for being wrong together.
Oh. Get out. It's the brother. Get out. What's not true
Welcome
about that?
Welcome to Brotherland.
Welcome
Damn.
to Brotherland. What's not true about it?
So it is a borrowed, embellished, mixed story. If you had asked me what kind of lie, I would have said all of the above.
Okay.
So it is based on a lot of truth. There are that is. I didn't meet my dad till I was 19. That whole part of my family, that whole thing. My brother and I are actually just now starting to connect.
Nice.
So this is more of a fantasy of if we had connected this long ago and what that could have been like in that kind of cool way. The other I did burn tea, weed tea like that, and smoked out the apartment. And I made a nice deal like that, a random kind of a thing. I did meet Tommy Chong.
That's very cool.
He was judging an adult comedy contest in Denver, and I was standing there because I wasn't smoking cigarettes at the time, so I was just standing there during an intermission, and some guy's like, "Hey man, you were cool. You can come back." All right, cool. And I go back, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Just smoking. I gave him one of my CDs. Because I had made comedy CDs at the time, so I gave him one. And then on my comedy CD, the album was called "I Have a Medical Condition," and the front of it was me in a bathrobe and boots standing in an operating room like this.
Yeah.
And then you flip around on the back, and it's the same picture except it's me from the back, but the robe is lifted up so you see my ass. So Tommy Chong has seen my ass.
Nice.
I handed it to him. He looked at it. He's like, "Oh, cool, yeah." I'm like, "It's got a joint in it too." It's like, "Oh, I gotta smoke it later." He flips it over. He's like, "Oh."
You might get that mold check, man. It looks bad, bro. God damn that! You know what? Well done, dude. I was convinced that was the true one for sure. That was
every bit of the others is true. Every syllable. That's in fact I had to leave things out because there were many other rides and other craziness and lots of insanity that happened while we were in Vegas, and so I had to condense it down. So I asked you how long can it be? I'm like, an hour and a half story each story. Come on.
Yeah.
Then Welcome to Brotherland. That was like the most normal quote unquote story out of all of them.
You've had an extraordinary life. I had no clue about some of that stuff. That's really awesome, man. Really awesome.
Thank you.
What a great life. And comedy, that's what how we actually all met.
We did,
How did you end up in comedy? How did that ever come to fruition with you?
I actually started out, I went to clown school first.
Clowns, really?
It was just like a local thing, like in the whatever recreator or whatever. And I went and got trained to be a clown and was doing that for a while. I was an entertaining guy. And I've always wanted to do stand-up. And then my wife at the time, she was like, "Look, there's an open mic. Go do this thing." So I went and did this. And, these guys had one in Loveland, Fort Collins for a couple months. I did it, loved it. And then it died and went away. And so I just started writing. I'm like, I got no place to do comedy, but I'm thinking of jokes now.
Yeah.
So I just started writing them. And then Dickie Bill Wagner, I saw he was doing an open mic at the Duke of Windsor. And I had
Forgotten about that one.
Right? And I just had all kinds of material. And there was only a few handful of us that went up at the open mic. And I remember following this guy who was like this Mormon guy. It was bad. It was just real bad. But afterward, I got up and I was just referencing him about stepping out of the way of the lightning and everything. And I did 18 minutes on that set. Just like, here's every joke that I blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Afterward, one of the parents of a guy I took care of was like, "I had no idea you smoked that much weed." Like, well, this is condensed. You got to realize this is years of condensed weed jokes.
I got to tell you, sometimes he takes care of me. He put me to bed 2 nights ago. It's fine,
And he slept like a baby.
Yeah, there was some old school times back there in the Greeley. We saw you mostly in Greeley at Shorty's.
Yeah.
That was some crazy times about Bob Gaudette and
Right.
who was the coach that used to go in there with the
Oh, Ed something. Ed.
God, remember?
Houlihan? No.
Houlihan. Yeah, that was it.
Houlihan?
It was
Yeah.
Houlihan.
Yeah, that's right. That's when Christy Buckley started out there
Right.
immediately, and it was so many years ago, man. God, a decade and a half ago. Crazy stuff, man.
Bob Gaudette came up to us in conversation the other day. I pulled out a pair of twangs. He's got this whole joke about the cheese twangs.
Twogs. Yeah.
No. The carpet. What the joke he had about the carpet? It'd be a good lesbian bar. The carpet.
Carpet exchange.
Carpet exchange.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, you cannot fit one more cunnilingus pun in that joke.
Yeah. Bob Gaudette's a
My
king.
favorite one was clear. The stuttering paramedic. That was my every time he'd do that.
Yeah, God, those are great memories, man. You still do a little comedy.
I do every chance that I get.
Yeah.
And
Do you still write, or you just kind of get up there?
Oh yeah, all the time. I've
Yeah.
got my newest one I just came up with the thing about like you ever try and type the word fuck into your phone, but it comes up duck.
Duck.
Like, well, you guys know I'm a vulgar guy. Like, you had me on the show in Lamar, and they gave me the swear jar. Like,
Yeah, I remember.
you take it, buddy. Like, I'm a vulgar guy. Like, I'm just you. And this was proven to me once again the other day because I went to text my wife that I was at the park feeding the ducks, and my phone said, "I'm at the park feeding the fucks."
The phone's giving
The
up on
phone's
you.
just like, yeah. Oh no, he doesn't say duck. Yeah. It couldn't be.
He broke Apple.
We talked to Satan. I mean, he's a lost cause. It's fine. Yeah, that's great, man. Man, it was awesome to have you on here, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's really good to see you too,
Me
man.
too.
That's why I like to have comics on and just natural storytellers.
It's the. I mean, I've been so excited about it.
Yeah.
Just like people willing to sit and listen to me talk.
Oh, shit, you're always welcome, bro. As a matter of fact, is there other comics out there? Hit us up. As a matter of fact, if there's anybody out there who wants to try the Bullhucker, on the bullhucker.com, there's a contact form. So just go ahead and send us your information. We'll get a hold of you, Or if you know somebody that you think would tell a great story, rat them out, man. But please tell them you ratted them out. So when I call, they're like, "I'm sorry, with the bullsucker?" What they, it's awkward for me if they don't know I'm coming for them. So just so you know, man. And you know what, Jsin, so much good stuff, man.
Thank you. And it's a lot of fun, and they're easy to beat.
Yeah, yeah. That's no kidding, right there, man.
We're 0-2 for the last 2 weeks.
We are, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah, murdered, man.
Well, no more comics. They kick our ass.
Jsin, once again, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Adam Vokey.
Hey, we'll catch you next time. Peace.